Okay, right. Welcome. Okay, let's switch this on. Bush. Whew. Okay. Okay. I'm going to do something interesting. Okay. You're watching this because somebody shared this with you, or I have shared this with you. All I'm doing is trying to look for a few people. I'm going to talk about the seed. Okay, this is how we do the seed. Any human being records on their phone or computer the seed, the idea. What's their basic idea? What are they hoping to do? Okay, and then they share that with a few people, like this is being shared with you. And if it is resonant, you take part in the second part. Okay, so we'll call this like the green phase, which is like the invitation. And the invitation is for the next part for people to take part, and then we do a Zoom video or we get together in person and we talk about it, we record that, and that formulates the third, which is the actual action, the thing that we actually do. So it's a bit like an action cycle, the 3 wows of an action cycle. And if anybody's looked into that, it's got 3 parts. What can be done by next week? You get consensus on an objective, what can be done by the following week. But then that has to turn into commitment to do. Okay, and then the third thing is the actual doing. So we have a similar kind of like 3-part structure. Okay, and in this one, it's the basic description of what it is that we would like to do. Now, that's basically it, really. Is there any real... Okay, so what am I looking for? In terms of the actual seed, what would be the point of a group of people? Okay, so it's more to do with the mechanics. The mechanics of this are quite simple. You pay it forwards, you share it forwards. And here's the trick. You share it forwards if it's not you. Okay, so if you get this, somebody's given this to you, and you're like, okay, I don't know what he's talking about, it doesn't appeal to me. You know, whatever the seed idea is, for example, it's about planting trees. You're like, I'm not really interested in planting trees. Why did this person give it to me? All right. And it's important, here's the trick, for the person who receives that to honor the fact that somebody's given it to them and share it forwards. Okay, don't put any more money in, but just share it forwards with the money that was received with it. Okay, maybe dilute it if you want to. Okay, if you receive it with £1, pay it forwards with £1, pass it on to somebody else. That is, if the valuation of the content is anywhere between 1 and 4, that means there's not going to be any real action to it and take part in anything beyond the fact that you've seen this. Minimally we're saying share it forwards. Just share it forwards, okay? If it's 1 or 2, leave it. It's dead. It's got absolutely nothing to do with you. The person giving it to you is completely wrong. A 3 or a 4, share it forwards, okay? Share it forwards. It's very, very, very important that happens, even with something that you're not going to act on. Why? Because then by sharing it forwards with somebody that you think, well, I don't like trees. Who likes trees? Oh, share it forwards with them. Great. You share it forwards with them. They might be the right person. Okay. Now, because they receive it and they go, oh wow, this is exactly what I want. Great. They get back in contact with the originator, the person talking about trees, or me in this case talking about the seed. All right, this is kind of like mechanic, meta level about the mechanic of how we share stuff with money flow. And so anybody interested in this process, get back to me in the next part. All right, it's people that have gone, I think I get what you're talking about here, and we sit there and we co-create how this is packaged really efficiently and well. So for example, I want to produce a video that shows this process, okay? And I think it's kind of like a social neuron, okay? However, the idea is then that it passes through people, and if people split it up to 2 and give it 2, 3, or 4, at various points, one person will get back and say, oh, this isn't for me. I would want to take part in the second part. And therefore, it's connected me, or the content creator, with another person to co-create the next part across any of the dendrites, any of the little avenues on the graph. When on Sqale, if you've got that graph, you can see the dispersal pattern. And so effectively, it connects up people through the social matrix. Okay, and that's very much like a neuron and how a neuron works in the brain and how it connects one neuron with another neuron through a network of neurons. Yeah. Okay, and there's a whole composition and engram of different neurons firing at the right times at different parts of the brain that enables us to talk, to walk, to fall in love, to all these different amazing things that we do as human beings. But we're exploring the social level of this. Okay, so anything more about the seed? If this sounds interesting to you, then I really want to kind of like hone in on what is the minimum package, okay, to provide people with, so that any human being, imagine this, any human. So what I'm thinking about, for example, is a website, and people, record some video and stick it on this website, okay, and they share it through Sqale, okay. We might have been able to get a little bit of better integration between Sqale, the app, and this website, so that they can put up the video, and effectively there's a button there that basically means share through Sqale, and then people then can share it through Sqale. All right, brilliant. And then effectively invite people to look at, it's almost like a crowdfunding site kind of, all right? And it's just got the seed, the initial kernel, the core of what they're trying to do and hoping to do. Share it with a few people, they share it with other people, and the right people take part in the second part. Now the second part is more like a shoot and a seed and roots going down. That initial kind of like growth, a bunch of people coming together, but we need to kind of focus in on producing something and putting the roots down. And that effect is the second part. And then the third part is the actual construction of a leaf, all right? A leaf, i.e. a thing that absorbs energy, and then the whole plant, basically, is self-sufficient and self-sustaining. Okay, and that's the third part. Do you get this? All right. So the three parts, this is the first part, the seed. The second part is more like the shoot, and the third part is the actual plant. Okay. Now there are two directions, the root as well. I talk in other videos about how this works in terms of our time and how we work in terms of the moment as we're watching this, and really bringing that out. And that's through our root in ourselves personally, our psychologies, and so on and so forth. But you are also doing that in yourself when you're listening, and therefore there is our mutual roots, our separate roots in our existences, but the fact that we operate in a similar way. Like, for example, you're speaking English and I'm speaking English. Okay, that's a similarity in our individual separate psychologies. That's our root. But it's also to do with, we're on this planet and we're kind of interested in changing and improving the world. Yeah. Okay, so there's that happening too in our separate existences, but because we kind of have very similar, they are resonant and we are in harmony. Okay, beautiful. So there's aspects of our being at the moment, and that's our root. And then our shoot is, well, what are we trying to do together? What's the point of all this? For me, of course, it's all to do with global unity, but that's beyond our scope of what we're doing. We're talking about what can we do with 5 or 10 people. Okay, what's the social result that we can produce that is sustainable with a financial vector to it, so that it's self-sustaining. Yeah. Okay, so I hope that made some form of sense to you, and that's to do with the seed. Please share. And if this is you and you're interested, yeah, share, but also let's take part in the second part. Okay, cool. Be well.